Believe it or not, here's a traffic cop. Although I suspect these people have their own code for moving about here. Entertainment of its own. Just like any Asian market, all kinds of things here. The difference, if there's any, is that there's considerable nicety of it. Everything's packaged nicely, presented nicely. Now he's on his second stone. And I think he has still a finer stone there also. Other tools of the fishmonger trade. More tools, probably a scaler. Yeah. Each person or each kind of fish requires a certain kind of a tool, I would guess. I do love the Japanese knives. I've traded one cleaver for my big salad knife, and that's all I've used for the last 6 months. These may be very nice placemats. Elegant, of course. Japanese, of course. Perhaps made in China, I don't know. It's be one of the most popular places. It's always interesting to me, no matter where I am in the world, it seems. If there are a collection of similar restaurants, there's always one or two that absolutely appear to dominate, as evidenced by the crowd, either in, out, or both. There are stalls selling books, presumably many cookbooks, for those who read the language and aspire. That is. Looks like a form of respect. Probably the same kind of little leafy things that I got, only in their individual little packets. Oh, here's the back ends of the shops we passed a moment ago. Here's a closer look at these little three-wheelers, and it looks like they pivot right at that spot right there, so that when he takes a corner, that front part can roll to the right, while this stays vertical. Ideal if you're holding a package. You know how people negotiate, but I think that's why they walk like they do in a kind of a sliding shuffle, because you can't really pick your feet up so easily with these, I don't think. More little restaurants.
People queuing outside. Not moving either.
The ladies just had a real quick interchange. They were waiting in this long line, which is for one restaurant, when a girl who was part of their group had investigated several of the other restaurants, found out they all serve the same food, taste the same, and the queues are much, much shorter. And so they went off to join a short queue instead of waiting an interminable length of time for whatever restaurant. This was an interesting wooden bowl. These are wasabi. So that's where the sharp wasabi spice comes. It's like Napa cabbage. Those big fat carrots that populate Southeast Asia, apparently Japan. A restaurant with very few people in it. Some beautiful dishes. I like that one there. Still using an abacus.
1890円。
Well, whatever it is, I just bought some, so I will save the wrapper and ask somebody later what it is. Now, based on my experience, I would say that was some kind of a dried apricot. Maybe it's from the same family. It probably had a bit in it, so it could be tamarind. What always fascinates me is that one business person will be wise enough to put English on a menu while the people next door won't. And yet, anyone who speaks English, which is all the tourists that come through here from other countries, including Asian countries, probably do speak enough English. That's the common language. My idea for a salad bowl, I just think it makes sense for anything where you like the sauce on it, but not drenched. You don't want what you're eating drenched in it. This is a lotto booth for buying tickets, and an older man just bought it, and then he rubbed the ticket between the ears with this little cap on there. No doubt practice for getting better ones. One of them is buckwheat, which is a favorite of the mountain people. This is probably various spices, purchased in relatively modest quantities, I'm sure. All kinds of mushrooms and other nuts, spices, things I'm unable to know. Dried fish. You notice everything how neatly and discreetly packaged as opposed to most Asian markets. Just presumably giving us an idea of all the different kinds of spices and condiments that this man has available for sale. Both to add color as well as to add flavor. Savings of something, but I don't know of what. Well, these are pretty bowls. If it weren't for the fact that I have no interest in carrying them back. But I might come and get some just before I leave. Now I'm getting back towards that main street I walked down first. It may be that some of these people are selling very specialty items or have unique versions of a product. Hemlock. Something similar to it. I think this is the makings of a new little restaurant, and this will be the counter right here. Notice how they're framing it. It looks like metal framing, probably a thin plywood surface. Notice how beautifully finished the wood seems to be to start. Looks like they put a mastic preparation on the floor in preparation for a new floor, no doubt. Decided to walk down this alley, and I smelled the lovely aromas coming out here, saw what looked interesting. It's fried, I guess. I don't know what it is. I had a choice between, in my mind, between that one, and I decided to take one of those. So now I have it. We'll see what it is. Certainly it has to have fish in it. It's very fishy tasting. Almost gelatinous. Has a certain greasiness, but I think that's on the outside of it. In any other context, I might toss it away. But here I'll eat as much of it as I can. It kind of has an interesting egg taste to it, I think, or a sweet taste, I'm not sure what.